Hey guys, I just found this note in my room. It says, lost and found. P.S. Please pick up your stuff and don't leave stuff in my room. Thank you. And I found it over there. There's 1, 2, 3 pre-algebra books, 3 algebra workbooks, and 2 notebooks. So what's going on? I don't know. People leaving stuff in here. So today we're going to talk about scale drawings and models. It's kind of off of what you've been doing, but it's because I'm not going to be here for 2 days, and I wanted you guys to be able to do something fun. Okay, so the first day that I'm gone, you guys will be doing a worksheet on scale drawings and models, and then the second day, you'll actually be doing a scale model, a scale drawing of your own house. Okay, and you'll be doing that in class. So, what is a scale drawing? Basically, when an architect is designing a building or something, he's not going to draw plans for a building that's the actual size of the building. Can you imagine if somebody was designing this building and they had to draw plans that were as big as this building? That would be crazy. So what they have to do is they draw it to scale. They draw it down, and then they say, okay, if you're looking at this little piece of let's say we're looking at this room, well, for every 1 inch, that's 5 feet, or for every 1 centimeter, that's 1 foot, or whatever the scale is, and that's called the scale. So, a scale drawing, write this down in your notes, or a scale model is used to represent an object that is too large or too small to be drawn or built at actual size. So I remember one time when I was in probably, I don't know, 4th grade, 5th grade, I had I had a project on Egypt, and we had to do pyramids. So I actually built a pyramid made out of sugar cubes, and the pyramid was based on the Egyptian pyramids. So my pyramid was made out of sugar cubes, so it looked like this, and it went all the way down like this, and it was like, it was supposed to be an Egyptian pyramid. That wasn't the actual size of my Egyptian pyramid. So who knows what the actual size is, but if there was a scale to go with it, it would say 1 sugar cube equals, I don't know, 5 feet or whatever. So, and then you could figure out how many actual feet the Egyptian pyramid was. If you count up all the sugar cubes, you can actually figure out how big the pyramid is in real life. So write this down. The lengths and widths in a scale drawing are proportional to the actual lengths and widths in real life. So let's say for every, like I said, for every 1 sugar cube is 5 feet. Let's say I wanted to know how much 10 sugar cubes are. I'm just going to write sugar cube, SC. And I want to know how many feet that are, X feet. So you set up a proportion. What do we know when we set up a proportion? A proportion has an equal sign in the middle in both of the fractions on either side. You can cross multiply them, and they will be equal when you cross multiply. So 1 times X is X, 10 times 5 is 50. So for every 10 sugar cubes, that's 50 feet. Does that make sense? Okay, so a scale is determined by the ratio of the given length on the drawing or model to its actual length. When I say model, I'm talking about something like if you ever, I don't know if you've ever seen a model of like a building that's going to be built, but it's actually really cool. I'm sure they made models of like Universal Studios and Disney World before they actually made Universal Studios and Disney World. And they probably had a little model of each roller coaster, and every time they make a new roller coaster, they probably make out a little model and stuff. So it's really probably really cool. And then somewhere on that model, it's going to tell you how big each thing actually is. So I actually measured out this room. I did it in blocks. One of these blocks is 1.3 feet, each one of those blocks. So I figured out how much, I don't know where my math went, somewhere along the line. There was the room is 20 feet by 20 feet, and the way I figured it out was because I counted up all the blocks, and then I measured out how much each block was, And then I figured out through all that the room is 20 feet by 20 feet. let's say I wanted to draw that in a picture, like you're gonna be doing of your house. I'm not gonna draw something 20 feet by 20 feet. So here's my piece of paper. So if I wanna draw this room, I might say 4 feet equals 1 inch, or 1 inch equals 4 feet. And what that means is, how many inches would I have to draw to make the whole room? Well, you set up a proportion, 4 feet to 1 inch, and I know that the room is 20 feet to how many inches. So I do out the math, 4x equals 20, divide by 4, and I get x equals 5. So if I was drawing a map of this room, or a scale drawing, I would have to draw a line that was 5 inches by 5 inches, and that would be Mrs. Osborne's classroom. Okay, and obviously it's not true to, this is not true to size. I'm just trying to give you an idea of how to do this. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Suppose a model of a dragonfly has a wing length of 4 centimeters. So they have this model of a dragonfly. I am a terrible drawer. So here's a dragonfly, right? So it's a model, so it's this little dragonfly, and they're saying it has a wing length of 4 centimeters, but the actual wing length is 6 centimeters. So they made this tiny little model. It's actually not too far off from what the actual model is. So they made this 4 centimeters, but the actual is 6 centimeters. So what is the scale of the model? So we have to figure out, okay, well, how much is 1 centimeter? So you're gonna go, 4 centimeters is what we have, 6 centimeters is the actual, and that equals 1 centimeter to what? So you set that up, 4 times x is 4x equals 6 times 1 is 6, divide by 4 on both sides, x equals 6/4, reduce 6/4, you get 3/2, which is 1.5. So for every 1 centimeter, that's actually 1.5 centimeters. That's what the scale is. Okay, so over here, the pillars of the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. are 17 feet tall. So we've got these pillars in this, memorial in Washington, D.C. And we know in real life, they're 17 feet. However, the scale model of the memorial has pillars that are 5 inches. So we know that 5 inches is to 17 feet. We want to figure out how much every 1 inch is worth. That's my scale. So 1 inch to x feet. We're going to cross multiply and you get 5x equals 17. Divide by 5. You're solving an equation and you get x equals, and I divided 5 into 17 to make it a mixed number, 3 2/5. And if you wanted to do 5 into 17 as a decimal, you could do that and say 2 and bring down the 0, and then the answer would be 3.4. So it's the same thing, but 3.4 feet. You always want to answer it in feet of what we don't have, okay? So the last one, a map of the Natural History Museum shows that the dinosaur exhibit room is 7.25 inches wide. So we're looking at a map of this exam, okay? This exhibit. If the scale on the map is 1 inch to 8 feet, then what is the width of the actual exhibit room? So we're wondering, how big is the actual room? So we know if 1 inch is 8 feet, and we know that the dinosaur exhibit room is actually, the map shows that it's 7.25 inches, if you're doing inches on the top to feet, you have to do inches to feet when you're setting up a proportion. So inches to feet, inches to feet. So you're going to multiply, cross multiply. Well, x times 1 is 1x. 7.25 times 8, I did that off to the side and I figured out it's 58.00. So the actual answer, the 7.25 inches, relates to 58 feet. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the problems on your worksheet today, and then I'm going to be giving you a project where you're going to have to go home and actually measure out the rooms in your house, and you don't have to be exact. And I think the best way to do it is on graph paper, because you could do for every 3 blocks that could be 1 foot, or for every 4 blocks it could be 2 feet, or whatever you want to do. But you're going to actually draw out your floor plan of 1 floor. You only have to pick 1 floor if your house has 6 levels. Just pick one floor, okay? And you're gonna say, okay, living room's here, kitchen's here, dining room's here, bathroom's here. And and I will show you an example before you go and do that, but I think you'll have fun. All right? Have a good day.